ASMR News with Max. I'm your host, Max. Submit your awkward intro ideas down below. But anyways, we have some big news because the House just passed the stimulus bill in the House. So what happened was the House first passed a stimulus bill. That thing got sent over to the Senate. The Senate made some changes, took out unemployment, made some other various, date changes. When that happens, it has to be sent back over to the House to be voted on again, which happened today. So today there was a few hours of debate. They said it was going to be 2 hours of debate, turned more into like 3.5 hours of debate. And then they voted on the stimulus bill. During the vote of the stimulus bill, there was tons of speakers highlighting the areas and the issues that they don't like about the stimulus bill. We're not going to go too in depth here because we're going to try and make this a real quick update. But the bill ultimately got passed in the House by a very slim majority, and it will now go to President Biden. So let's briefly gloss over everything that is included in this bill. You're probably familiar already with most of the things that are included, but we're looking at unemployment boosts of $300 through September 5th with that $10,200 tax credit. So that tax credit goes to 2020 unemployment insurance received. You do not have to pay taxes up to $10,200 in benefits. If you already filed your taxes, you will be able to amend your taxes. The exact system, though, isn't in place yet. It might be slightly easier than having to amend your taxes, so hold off on that. We're looking at nutrition assistance increase of 15%. We're looking at stimulus checks of $1,400 per person. Stimulus checks are huge. This is the most beneficial, most significant stimulus checks that we've seen so far. $1,400 per person, $1,400 per child dependent, $1,400 per adult dependent. College students, adults, like a parent who lives with you who is a dependent on your taxes, you get $1,400 for each person. So like a family of four, anyone with children is benefiting in a huge way from this stimulus bill. Also looking at housing assistance, $19.1 billion to cover rent and utilities, $10 billion in mortgage and utility assistance, and $5 billion to combat homelessness. The child tax credit is bumped up as well to $3,600 per child under the age of 6, and $3,000 per child between the ages of 6 and 17. Tons of funding for schools, well over $100 billion to schools. Additional funding to small businesses, $7 more billion to the Paycheck Protection Program. Also, I'll have more on the PPP in just a minute here that I wanted to talk about briefly. $15 billion more in funding for the EIDL loan, $350 billion to state and local governments, and much, much more, including tons of money for vaccine research and distribution. But the state and local government end, we're going to likely see more state employees hired back on. Maybe if they've been laid off, police, firefighters, teachers, schools will get more funding. We might see more local stimulus programs for individuals and local grant programs. So keep an eye out in your area for small business grant programs as well. So this got passed in the House. Now, this could be passed and voted in completely by President Biden as soon as today. So we don't know 100% sure if it's going to get passed today or not, but the odds are he's going to sign it into law today. I mean, all it takes is a little, boom, bada bing, bada boom sign, and then it's done. So odds are that'll be signed in today. I'll post another video once that is completely signed in. So make sure you're subscribed and you like the video and you share this and you do all those things for the YouTube algorithm because I would appreciate it. Now let's cover some PPP news. The Paycheck Protection Program has been a little bit of a nightmare in the last month or so, maybe even 2 months. With all these rule changes, lenders are having to rework their systems, and it just causes problems, makes lenders look bad, it makes the SBA look bad, and makes everyone nervous, especially with this looming deadline of March 31st that they have yet to extend yet. Also, thank you to everyone who signed that letter that we sent to Congress regarding the PPP that has been sent off, and that was to push for extending this program. Now, I still think that it will be extended potentially. However, we just don't know for sure. I'd say there's more than a 50% chance that it gets extended. But if you haven't applied yet, absolutely apply. I have a bit of an announcement for those who file with a 1040 Schedule C. The Womply Fast Track program is now open to everyone who filed with a 1040 Schedule C. So in the past, if you had already received a PPP-1, you weren't able to use that. Now you are. In the past, if you wanted to use your 2020 tax return, now you can. So that's linked in the description. It's much more open. It's much easier to use than ever before. And I know there was a bit of an issue that some people were running into where They would finish this application and it would say, we'll contact you in 24 hours. And then Womply ran into the issue where there was tons of people applying on the weekends, and the SBA doesn't do anything on the weekends, even right now, which is crazy to me. And with all the rule changes, lenders had to rework their systems. So there was this backlog of people who were sitting there ready to be processed through lenders, and they couldn't send off notification to all the individuals saying, hey, this has been processed, because it just kept building up. So they've been working through this. I know today and yesterday, like thousands of people have received funding. I know I've received tons of messages that are like, got funding, good to go. Some people are still waiting. If you are waiting, don't worry. As long as you followed all their instructions, you will get funded. You will get funded. So don't worry too much about that, but I know it's frustrating to sit and not receive any notification. Yesterday, I called them up. I called the head of customer relations and the CEO and said, you guys need to send out some kind of info to people who are waiting, because I'm getting all these messages. You need to make sure that they know where they're at. And it seems like they've done that, because I've received several messages that said, like, we got a status update, we're good to go. But now I just wanted to say that program is much more open. I have a video that breaks down this new application that's much more open to people. I'll have that pinned above. And if you still can't use that application, their other application now accepts gross income as well. So you can use that other application as well if you could fall within those gross income rules. So we'll have more later on this evening regarding all things stimulus once this thing gets signed in by Biden. But I just want to do a quick update. So I would like to thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a profitable